What if there is an objective standard for great songs? And if there were one, how would that affect how you write? Let's talk about it. The goal of this video is to at least get you to consider my 9th law of songwriting, which is to write as though quality is absolute. When we say, I want to make my song better, or I think this song is better than that song, or I think that person is a great songwriter, or that person is a good songwriter, or that person is a good artist. Those are all objective statements, not subjective statements. Subjective would be, I like that songwriter more than that songwriter. That's just subjective. Nobody can really argue with that. It's just your taste. It's your opinion. But when you say that songwriter is better than that songwriter, that's an objective claim. Because essentially it comes down to this. If you have written a song over the course of, let's say, 2 hours, and you essentially have the option to just call the song done, finish it, or to workshop it more to make it better, if you truly believe that there's no such thing as any objectivity in art, and it's all just subjective, it's all just like your opinion, man. If you believe that, why on earth would you spend any more time to make the song better? Because you don't believe that better exists, because better is an objective judgment. If you say, in my last hour, I made my song much better, that's not saying I like my song more after an hour. That's saying, no, the quality of the song in some objective sense became better because of that time I put in. If you live as though you believe that art is purely subjective, then why would you do that? That'd be a waste of time. It's better to live as though you believe that there is an objective standard out there, because then you can write to try to hit that objective standard. You don't just say, well, my song is done, and who's to say that it's not great, even if it took me 15 minutes and the lyrics are a total mess? It's all just subjective. Why would you bother to become a better songwriter if you don't think there's such thing as a better songwriter? Or at the very least, we probably won't become as much better as we would if we instead changed our mindset and thought, I'm gonna treat it as though there's this objective standard of what makes a song great, and I'm gonna work towards becoming more consistent about my songs reaching that greatness, because I believe it exists, or at least I act as though it exists. And like all the videos in this, I have quotes. Let's start with James Taylor, who says, I always ask, is this the best I've got? Then I step back, listen like it's someone else's song, and fix what doesn't hold up. Eddie Vedder of Pearl Jam says, every song's gotta feel like it's the best we can give, no shortcuts. That drive to make it great forces you to find new depths in yourself. Or once again, Eddie Vedder, who says, I judge every song against a standard of what's truly great, not what's liked. I ask, is this my best? And listen again like it's got to prove itself. Or how about Chris Martin of Coldplay, who says, I pretend every song will be judged against the greatest, like it's got to live forever. That's what makes you sweat every detail. Or Thom Yorke of Radiohead, we tore OK Computer apart 100 times to make it undeniable. Chasing that standard made us better. That's why the songs still hold up. Also talking about OK Computer, he said, we aimed for a standard with OK Computer that wasn't tied to popularity. An absolute quality, not a subjective one, an absolute quality in sound and feeling that forced us to evolve. Or Prince on Purple Rain. I didn't let Purple Rain out until every note, every lyric felt like it could stand forever. You grow when you demand that kind of quality. Matt Bellamy of Muse, I approach every song like it's got to stand up to the best ever written. That mindset forces you to dig deeper and never settle. Or John Denver, who says, write as if your song has to stand among the best forever. That passion for quality will lift it higher than you imagined. Paul Simon of Simon & Garfunkel, you have to ask, is this song as good as it can be? Imagine it's being judged by some universal rule of greatness. That's how you push yourself. Matt Bellamy of Muse again. I believe there's an objective bar for great art. It's in the precision, the emotion, the innovation. You write to meet that, not to chase fame. And Michael Stipe of REM. Great songs have a measurable excellence, structure, impact, honesty. It's not about who likes it, it's about meeting a standard that stands the test of time. Some of those are more overtly objective. As soon as we say best, that's an objective claim. When we talk about greatness, that's an objective thing. Not once were they talking about popularity unless it was to diminish the importance of popularity. So they are fighting against the idea that it's all just subjective. If you at least live as though you believe there is an objective standard out there and there's some level of objectivity to this, it inspires you to push yourself, to write better songs. Because again, if you don't think better songs exist, why would you push yourself to write better songs? It just logically doesn't make any sense at all, because you might as well write every song in 15 minutes and say the first draft is perfect as it is, because it's all just subjective, man. But if you believe there is a standard, or live as though you believe there's a standard, and write to that standard, that pushes you to become better in a way that nothing else can. I would 100 times out of 100 put my money on a 20-year-old songwriter who believes, or at least lives as though he believes, there is some level of objectivity in art, over somebody who says it's all just subjective. I would put my money on that person being a better songwriter after 10 years in every single case, because the other person has no incentive or reason to become a better songwriter, because they don't even think a better songwriter exists. They think it's all just opinion, so why push yourself? Whereas the first person is looking at whatever he considers to be the objectively great stuff and is pushing himself to try to meet that standard. So it is better for us to act as though there is an objective standard and ask ourselves questions like, is this the best I can do right now? Not, do I like this song as much as I possibly could? Which is also a valid question, by the way, but that's not really the core question. It's, is this the best I can do? And then also revisit your work with a critical mindset, where you try to look at your own art as objectively as you possibly can. It's impossible to be totally objective about anything, because we're human and we're flawed and all that. But try to listen to your song from a more objective standpoint and really figure out, is this actually good? Is this meeting some sort of bar of greatness? Or is it just something I wrote and I liked it at the time, but now it's kind of like, it's not really good though. And in general, write like greatness is the only option, and it will show in your songs. If you act as though you are pursuing greatness, if you try to pursue greatness, you're much more likely to get to greatness. So one of the keys to better songs is, of course, better lyrics. If you want help writing some better lyrics, be sure to check out my free 6-step lyric writing checklist. It takes what can be an overwhelming process in lyric writing and breaks it down into 6 smaller baby steps, if you will, that makes accomplishing lyrics that you're proud of much more easy, because it is very difficult to look at a blank page and just improvise brilliant poetry off the top of your head. And if you've been struggling with lyric writing and you've been doing that, almost certainly it's not because you suck at lyric writing. It's not that you're talentless or whatever story you tell yourself. It's almost certainly that you're just putting yourself in a position to fail. It's the process that's broken, not you. So be sure to check this out. 6-step lyric writing checklist at songwritertheory.com/lyric checklist. It will help you to write lyrics you're proud of closer to every time, rather than once in a while when you get lucky and the muse strikes and inspiration strikes and all that. And in line with this video, it will help you to write better lyrics. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you, even the haters that will inevitably be in the comments, and I'll talk to you in the next one.